As well as being a brilliantly tense show that's managed to break records and set trends, Squid Game is also packed full of twists. We get sucked in with the life or death games and the creepy pastel colors, and then bam! Something happens completely out of the blue that pulls the rug right out from under us. Here, we will reveal to you the interesting details of Squid Game that you may have missed. Number 1. The real-life Dragon Motors strike. A real-life event strongly referenced in Squid Game is the 2009 Ssangyong motor crisis. Workers at the enormous car company went on strike and occupied the company after mass layoffs following the 2008 financial crisis, and protests were violently suppressed, first by private security, then by a full-scale attack by police. Only by 2018 was a resolution reached, almost a decade after the strike. It isn't a coincidence that Ji-hun's backstory involves taking part in a workers' uprising at a car company that experienced violent suppression. The most obvious clue is that the fictional car company in Squid Game was called Dragon Motors, and the real-life Ssangyong factory roughly translates to or double dragons. Number 2. The gift box Ji-hun gave his daughter is wrapped the same as the game coffins. You probably already noticed that the box that Ji-hun wins in the grabber machine is pretty much the same as the coffins the dead players are placed in once they die in the games, except with a different color ribbon. The gift box detail is deliberate. In an interview with Netflix Korea, art director Chai Kyung-sun said, "I think I focused on the mind of the person who came up with the game. I imagined he'd think he gave the contestants a chance as if he's a god. This is my gift to you. Even your bodies being disposed in the incinerator is a show of my mercy." Inside the box that Ji-hun wins is a gun-shaped lighter. Some viewers have taken this to be another foreshadowing moment, as players in the game are killed by a gun and then burnt by fire. Number 3. The number 456 followed Ji-hun before he even joined the game. In Episode 1, Ji-hun beats on the horses and wins. His winnings is 4.56 million won. 45.6 billion won is also the bonus number that you will receive after the game ends, and Squid Game also has 456 players. Number 4. The doll's hair clip is the Squid Game court symbol. Not that anyone would have been paying attention to the tiny hair clip in the scary giant doll's hair as they were trying to avoid getting shot, but again, the inclusion of the three symbols synonymous with the titular game could have been another hint to players of what games were ahead. The actual Squid Game, which is shown at the very start of the show, ends up being the final rounds game. Number 5. The games are hidden on the walls in the dorm room. As early as Episode 4, you can see illustrations on the walls behind the beds, but you'll have to be paying very close attention to the background. Once Ji-hun, Sang-woo and Se-byuk make it to the final 3 in Episode 8 after completing the glass stepping stones game, the drawings on the wall are as clear as day. Number 6. All the deaths are low-key foreshadowed in Episode 2. Squid Game Episode 2 contains several huge hints that all foreshadow the deaths of a handful of major characters. Ali steals, or rather, takes what he's rightfully owed, from his boss, and is later betrayed by Sang-woo, who steals his marbles. Dok-soo jumps off a bridge to avoid being killed by gang members, and later dies after falling off the glass bridge. Se-byuk threatens to slash a mont's throat, and is later killed by Sang-woo who, you guessed it, slashes her throat. Sang-woo tries to take his own life, and later kills himself in order for Ji-hun to win the game and the money. Number 7. Se-byuk's accent changes slightly, depending on who she is talking to. A small yet important detail that you may have missed if you watched a dubbed version of the show, opposed to the original Korean, is that Se-byuk switches accents depending on who she is talking to. While talking to the other players, she speaks with a standard South Korean accent, but when she's comforting her younger brother, she returns to her true North Korean accent. Number 8. Mi Neo even foreshadows her own death in a subtle way. In episode 5, Mi Neo describes how powerful she felt when the team all leaned back in order to win the tug-of-war game. In episode 7, when she finally makes good on her promise to Dok-soo that she'd kill him if he ever betrayed her, she grabs him and falls backwards, dragging him to his death with her in a final act of sacrifice. Number 9. Jiyoung mentions the actor who plays the frontman by name in episode 6. In episode 6, when Se-byuk and Jiyoung are sharing their stories, Se-byuk tells her friend that she wants to visit Jeju Island. Jiyoung then suggests that she visit somewhere like Hawaii or the Maldives instead, and have a mojito. Jiyoung then references a famous line in the South Korean film Inside Men, starring Lee Byung-hun. Lee later makes a cameo appearance in Squid Game as the frontman. Number 10. Huns Red Hair. Though many were baffled and shocked by Hyun's choice of new hair, with its bold, almost cartoonish red, there was certainly more than one narrative reason for it. The director pointed out that Hyun's new hair was in part due to him wanting to have a huge change, show that he could never go back to his old self. It was, according to the director, something Hyun would have never done before, showing just how much had changed after experiencing the games and his many losses. After losing his best friend, the people had come to trust in the game, as well as his own mother. There was no way that Hyun from the beginning of the series would have survived to the end. And he didn't. The color of red also represents his rage, and how it would drive him to act against the Squid Game's leadership with his newfound wealth, power, and drive. It's in stark contrast to his paralyzing grief, the year he spent destitute despite having access to immense riches. Now that a fire has been lit under him, Hyun's ready to fight, red hair and all. Did we miss any details? If you find any clues, please comment below. Thanks for watching guys. If you like this video, please like, comment and share with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. See you on the next video.